Este es el programa número 1 de la televisión humorística, El Chavo.
This is Johnny with Tigerbomb MMA, and today I'm going to go over UFC Mexico City Moreno versus Kavanagh, give you my thoughts, predictions on the entire 13-bout card. It's going to be an interesting one because it is still taking place in Mexico City from what I heard, and if you're not really up on the news, there's some bullshit happening down in Mexico, specifically Jalisco, which is not too close, not too far, but we'll see how this plays out, and more than likely if Moreno doesn't win, let's just say he needs to win, because if not, the judges who don't give him the scorecards, if it hits the scorecards, will probably be hung upside down from a balcony, or probably worse. But if Moreno doesn't win, I was specifically told from family down there that they're probably going to behead his pop figure. So it's going to be an interesting overall night for these fighters. But before I break these fights down, I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on the previous card, which was the very fun Strickland versus Hernandez. I'm going to try to get through everything quickly because I'm not necessarily sick, but my voice is, I'm still kind of sucked up. Tried to record this yesterday, but I just could not stop coughing, so COVID 2.0 is back, baby. But yeah, first fight of the night. Overall, I should say I went like 8-6. There were some things I was proud of that I stayed away from and I predicted accurately, and some things that were like, well, that sucks. Carly Judice destroys Juliana Miller. Miller had a decent moment, two times really. She took the back of Judice. Good for Miller not trying to go for takedowns the traditional route because she sucks at them. She did take the back, but it shows you how good Judice was to defend that, especially training with Aaron Phillips, working that jiu-jitsu. Judice has got a super high ceiling, considering that she's the better between her and the girl on the actual card in Mexico. Jordan Levitt easily defeats Del Valle, which was unfortunate for Del Valle, even more unfortunate for Dogarian, who will probably have this fight here, Levitt versus Del Valle, played in the FBI's quarters to prove that he is fucking guilty, because Del Valle was getting taken down way too easily, and Levitt, you cannot disrespect that man. I really thought Del Valle was going to have a little bit more to even give him any sort of concussive blows, but realistically, Levitt, with his awkward little X guard that he has, like blocking punches, like he must be doing a lot of work with Strickland. He's looking pretty good, albeit kind of goofy. Jean-Paul defeats Phil Rowe. Look, I did place a little bet on Phil Rowe, more or less like a let's see what happens, although I did pick Lebonyansky or whatever. I was concerned that he wouldn't be able to get him to the ground. He was able to muscle Phil down eventually. It's just more of a testament to how shitty Phil is at this point. I think Jean-Paul going forward, given that he's going to be fighting maybe men a little closer to his size, he's going to look better. This, to me, was a very difficult fight for him to come out here and perform, given that if Phil Rowe let his hands go, it could have been a different story. He was busting up Jean-Paul. It's just that Jean-Paul wasn't really able to capitalize too much, but he didn't look awful. It's more that Phil Rowe didn't really let the hands go. Punahele defeats Ramiz Brahima. I did say it. I did pick Puna. He did exactly as I expected or wanted him to do. I didn't actually expect him to do it. I was hoping to God that his cornerman would be like, hey, Ramiz is dangerous early. He becomes less dangerous the more you wear on him. And that's exactly what he did in round number 2. The moment Puna said, fuck it, I can outmuscle him, Ramiz really couldn't do much. He wasn't able to be as dangerous as he typically is. In round number 2, he did have a moment where he took the back, but a little too late. And then at the end, Puna was out scrambling him, and he had the better cardio in this matchup because Ramiz is just too light of a body. Jaws and Edwards. I had her by finish. She got the finish twice for Carnoli. Very devastating slam, and then ultimately got choked out. She was looking good. I'll give it to Carnoli. She was doing as she was doing in the first round, or the first fight, that is. And then Edwards is just very tentative, which I was like, man, she better not be tentative. Like I said, she could be. And of course, she's like, let me try to grapple a girl who's much stronger than me. Eventually got her down, slammed the shit out of her, because Carnoli is strong but not technical. And we saw what happened. Correa defeats Gurule pretty easily. I had Alden Correa in my parlay with Judice. Like, these two were not going to lose. He looked great. For Gurule, his confidence is gone because he got knocked out by Ode Osborne. And at this point, I can see him winning gold in like a regional promotion, like Cage Fury and or like LFA. Definitely not PFL. Like, he's very skilled, but he needs to fight, unfortunately, fighters that are afraid of him. And at this point, I don't think that aura of him being undefeated and beating a guy like Nick Piccinini is going to really carry him in the UFC. Idris defeats Ode. Idris looked like shit up until he started getting more comfortable. I think he needed more time in the cage, and he was looking all right. Like, he's still rough. He has these compulsive movements that he has to like move forward awkwardly, but it was enough to beat Ode. Really not much to beat Ode these days. Carlos Leal versus Chidi. To me, fight of the night. Excellent. Both these guys back and forth. Arguably, you could say that Chidi could have won it based off of like how, back and forth it was, but Leal just moving forward, Chin kind of daring him to come at him, but the moment he's landing these body shots and just overwhelming Chidi, pushing him back, more than enough to get at least a 30-27 on two of the scorecards. Props to both, though. I was more impressed by Chidi than I was with Carlos Leal. We already knew what Leal was going to do. He wasn't grappling like I expected him to. A fight that should have not gone the distance. Not that I was upset. It just shows how good these two guys are and how tough and durable they are. More so Chidi. I was like, I expected him to break, and he didn't, so good to him. Michel Pereira proves that although he won this fight, and my first official loss, I don't count the Del Valle, because again, fraudulent shit. Let's stay away from that. This one is like, man, although Pereira won, and he did win, he won 29-28, bare minimum. The fact that he fought to a split with Reyes is like, man, he is really done. I expected him to get finished, but there were some things he was doing in the cage, like he got fouled a few times, legit, a few fake fouls. Who is this man? Like, I prefer him being completely washed and knocked out than seeing him go this low. Jacoby Smith defeats Josiah Harrell. I expected there to be a fight for Smith. I did not expect it to be a guy coming off of brain surgery. And the fucked up part about it was after he knocked him out, with the ground and pound, he kept hitting the spot where the scar was for his brain. So I'm like, man, when this fight got announced, I was like, how are you going to put a guy that just got brain surgery against Jacoby Smith? That's just foul right there. But I had him on a parlay, of course, inside the distance. His inside the distance was like plus money, almost even money, I believe. It sucks. Spivak defeats Delia. They gave him a 30-27. I thought Delia for sure won round number 2. Didn't matter. He did lose. He just couldn't get past that jab. And what's unfortunate is that typically Spivak is the one taking damage. Like, he bruises up, but he was busting up Delia with that jab. And he just couldn't get past it. He couldn't get past that range. I just think Delia was not as aggressive as he needed to be. He was just very one-dimensional, which he is standard. But yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Spivak, good for you. Moving on, Costa defeats Ige. I thought Ige was going to at least show up a bit better. I had some money on him. Excuse me. But Costa spinning back kicking him is ridiculous. The fact that he loses all of his melanin and then he becomes one of the top fighters in that division. I don't know what he's trying to say by that, but I can assure you his credit score is also super sky high. Medic defeats Jeff Neal. Ramis specifically said it after, after Jeff got knocked out by Carlos Prates, which, by the way, there is his signed glove, fucking dope-ass signature, by the way. But for Prates, after he knocked out Neal, Ramis was yelling at Saif Sayud, like, you ruined his career, and now it's starting to look more like it's the case, right? Fortis has kind of been, for a while, known as a gym that is like, you kind of fade those guys. But Jeff, prior to that knockout, I think he would have ran through Earls, and I will give Earls credit, like, this guy has improved, but he's even said it. He's even expecting to get knocked out. He said it in his post-fight interview. Like, I've been there. It might happen again. It probably will happen again. And I'm like, hey, fuck it. You're honest. But he had a nasty knockout, and I think that's it for Jeff Neal. He needs to find a different way to fight. He was banking on his chin being more durable and him retreating that way, not clinching. And on top of that, trying to firefight with him while he was hurt was a really, really, really bad sign. Like, he was not prepared for what could have happened, and that's very unfortunate, given the fact that he had to, and he didn't have to, but given the fact that he did get sober, I'm a little worried for Jeffney. I think Jeff's a nice guy, and I don't think he deserves that shit. Strickland defeats Hernandez. This is fascinating. I had a suspicious feeling that Hernandez might have been hurt. He kind of did look like he fought hurt. If he didn't, he looked kind of off. Not to say, like, Strickland does that. Strickland will do that to guys where they look not themselves. That impenetrable border wall defense that he has. It's impressive. I felt that could be a case, but Fluffy's main objective was to make the fight dirty, and he never really did. He tried a point fight with Sean, which is a bad idea. I thought he was having success in that third round, and when he was getting wild, he was actually catching Sean. Maybe not cleanly, but it was more effective than him trying to, like, have a jab battle with him. So knowing that Sean looks good early, I thought maybe after round number 3, it's going to start kind of snowballing slowly to Hernandez having some success getting into those clinch situations. Unfortunately, in this case, Sean out-clinched Hernandez, kneeing him in the gut, a.k.a. the puto panza, which we've all known. So I saw some shit about, like, Bilal Muhammad, like, oh, you got to target the body. He's weak to the body. Oh, no shit. Brilliant fucking strategist. No duh. But Sean Strickland being the one to do it, did not see that coming. Had this been a guy like Paulo Costa, absolutely kicks the shit out of him. And I've always banked on guys to do that to Fluffy. Like, I bet Pereira to do that, and he did. He just never capitalized. And then Fluffy just ate it, moved forward, took him down. For Sean to do that, impressive. I'm glad he's back on track, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. If he gets that title shot against Chimaev, we'll see how it looks there. Like, he did look a bit hard to take down. He's always been solid, but there's just that motivation in him. Had I known that the UF's hockey team was going to be playing the next day against Canada, he hates Canada with a fucking passion more so than I do. Not you Canadian fans. I love you guys. You support the shit out of me. But had I known that at the time, I'd have been like, oh yeah, Sean ain't fucking losing. But props to Sean. Props to anyone who bet him. But yeah, this seemed to me from the beginning this could be a problem for Fluffy if he's not 100%. We'll see if he comes up with an excuse. But let's get into the current card at hand. Let me take a swig of juice before I cough. I'm going to try to give you some quick analysis, but first fight of the night, we've got Wes Schultz versus Damian Pinas. Baba Yaga for Pinas, minus 250. Come back on West Party Time. Schultz is plus 195, minus 250. I don't know if I said plus for him. A couple of things for Pinas. I hear he has a huge extended family, and he tends to invite people to the cookout. So I've heard a lot. Doing my research on both these guys, Wes Schultz, I know he's got a speech impediment. He seems like a really fun party time kind of guy. Like, he's willing to, like, brawl with anybody. But the more I found out about Pinas and his family, I was like, damn, I'd love to go to the Pinas family reunion. You know, because he's got all these characters in his family. He's got, like, Uncle Harry, like Aunt Tiny, cousin Luscious. Then they've got Uncle Slim. And then I even found out about the family members that they hate. They have an uncle named, they hate this guy, Edward David Pinas. They fucking hate E.D. Pinas. They're like, you cannot come to the party, E.D. You're not allowed. So I'm excited to see where this guy goes because he looks promising for 23 years old. And on top of that, prestigious name. But Damian Pinas, 6'1", almost an 80-inch reach. This guy, I'm impressed by him despite the fact that he's very green. Trains at a great camp, Nova União. Cannot confirm, but he seems to be a very, very low-level BJJ guy. Like, he seems to have, like, a white belt or even a blue belt. But he's a striker. He's very measured, and he has ungodly-like power. And what I mean is, like, he's got Ngannou-like power, but he doesn't throw like Ngannou. He just taps people, and he hurts them. His only loss to me was a bit of a bullshit loss. He kicked a grounded opponent, but I think the guy was kind of playing a bullshit game, almost like begging him to kick him. And it is what it is. But I do know he's very easy to take down. Now, granted, he's fighting Wes Schultz. He's a very good wrestler, so there's some value in Schultz. But if this is a matchup where he's been training takedown defense, against a guy like Schultz, who's a very good grappler, very good aggressive submission artist. But if this becomes a matchup where, say, Pinas is just too strong, too powerful, too black, if you will, explosive and like thrusting, it's going to be very difficult for Wes Schultz to out-muscle him. Technically, he is better than he is on the mat, on the feet. Look, Wes Schultz, God bless him, he's very awkward on the feet. If you ever seen yourself, like if you've ever struck or hit a heavy bag, and the first time you do it, you see yourself, you record yourself, and you suck ass, that's how Wes Schultz fights, is how you hit a heavy bag when you're first starting. It's very awkward, but the thing about it, in that awkward chaos, this guy will move forward. He will fight you. That's what I like about Party Time Schultz. He will fight anybody. And unfortunately for him, he's not very athletic. He's not very gifted when it comes to physicality. I think he can drop down to welterweight, and he can have a ton of success down there. But he is live here, given the fact that it's a 23-year-old kid training out of a good camp. He's very raw. But in that rawness, I do see a ton of potential, right? Jokes aside about his dick last name, he's got a ton of potential. And given that he gets the right seasoning, he gets the right takedown defense, he might be an absolute problem going forward. But in this situation here, if Wes Schultz gets him down early, it could be trouble for him early. If Pinas can muscle him, keep it on the feet, Wes Schultz is going to more than likely gas a bit. He is not a guy with great cardio. He does tend to go balls to the walls, which, again, you got to respect. But although I was leaning hard on Schultz, I got to go with the dick man here and Pinas to win this one within the last two rounds, round number 3, round number 2 via TKO. I think he does hit ridiculously hard. And when I compare his striking now versus a guy in Abdul Malik, he's a much cleaner striker than Malik was when he fought Wes Schultz. And Malik was landing cleanly on him. Although not pretty, it was still pretty clean. Give me Pinas to be the much calmer striker here. He's very measured. I think he actually might have the better cardio. He doesn't go ridiculously hard. He finds his shots, and when he lands them, it's devastating. Wes Schultz is a tough dude, though. No doubt about it. If you want to play him, no quarrel with me. Props to you. But I do think Pinas is just going to be the more physical of the two, powerful of the two, and I think he has a very bright future. Moving on here, we've got next bout at featherweight, Francis Marshall versus Eric King Silva. Minus 530 for Francis Fire Marshall, Fire Bill Marshall here, plus 390 for Eric Silva. It's a very easy fade on Eric Silva. I will spend more time talking about how I actually don't think he's that bad of a fighter. He's just at this point 38 years old, almost 39. Good grappling, not great grappling. He's a threat, but I don't see him being a threat anywhere for Francis Marshall. Francis has definitely improved training at ATT. He's learning things that he should have been learning at Kurt Pellegrino's camp. And essentially at ATT is just unlearning all the bad habits from Kurt Pellegrino. Francis was more or less started off as a jiu-jitsu guy. His boxing's getting better. His wrestling's getting better. The attempt, and just solely the attempt, he didn't get it down. The blast double that he tried early on against Myron Santos was good enough for me to be like, this guy gets it. This guy's getting better. Myron's hard to take down, but that blast double was fucking fast. It was explosive. And training with those guys, it's going to be beneficial for him, for sure. I do expect him to get it to the ground, control Eric Silva, and then pound him out in the first or second round. But I'm going to give it to Silva. He's still going. He's got a chance in the sense that he can maybe throw a spinning kick. He's got decent kicking ability. But when you're getting out-grappled and submitted by a TJ Brown, no, sir. So give me Marshall to come out here and get business done. I think he's good for sure, but I also don't like the idea that he's minus 530 over a loss. And that was a loss against Myron Santos. You might have thought, he won. But shit, look, man, I'm doing judging this weekend for MMA and kickboxing and all this other shit all on the same card. But when it comes to MMA, there was a period in time about a year ago where people thought that getting a takedown solidified winning a round, and that's not the case. It's just a change of position. And in that fight, that's kind of what Francis tried doing. I don't think he was necessarily like doing damage to Santos. I think Santos was a little bit more clean, and I thought Santos did enough to win the fight, although it didn't look pretty when given the criteria and you're watching the strikes happen live. I thought his punches were more impactful, thus giving him the edge in winning the fight. I don't blame anyone for thinking that Marshall won it. Like, I kind of felt that way when I first saw it. I was like, oh, shit. Like, I think Marshall might have gotten it. But realistically, coming off of a loss and being minus 500, not a play I kind of want to mess around with. But ultimately, I do expect him to win this one. Next bout, flyweight Ernesta Kareckaite, a.k.a. Ernesta Kareckaite, Ernesta Karate Kate versus Sofia Montenegro. All right, the odds on heavy-handed Ernesta, that is like the most fraudulent nickname ever. This girl has not heavy hands. She has pillow fists for damn sure, but despite me shitting on her, she should not be minus 370 or 345, that is. This girl is a split decision magnet. Sofia is plus 265. I have a lot to say about this. I'm going to try to condense it. My issue with Montenegro is that she takes damage when she realistically shouldn't be taking damage. What I mean is I've seen her fight a couple different low-level women, and she's dominating them, pushing them back, and they seem to land a strike on her that I don't see that cut her the fuck up. It's happened on her last fight in the Contender Series. She did get headbutt and won, but under the eye, she got a cut, and I don't know how the hell she got it in the first round. And I forgot who she fought. I think it might have been this girl here, Aniela Perez. She's dog-walking Perez, but like I see her go to the corner, and she's got cuts on her face. So I don't think she takes damage very well. But she weaponizes aggression, which I really appreciate. She is going to try to get takedowns. I think she trains with some good people. I think she's also been training with another girl. Oh my God, I can't think of the booty girl. Anyways, she seems playable because if this is a typical Ernesta fight, she does fight very, very, very close. And although I do think she wins these fights, she just fights incredibly close, and she's very often fighting very close. The positives for Ernesta: she's got a ton of potential, like ridiculously high potential. She's got great cardio, great frame, great reach. Everything about her I really appreciate, other than the fact that she does not solidify rounds. She does not utilize her reach, her God-given abilities well at all. She is training at Syndicate, and she's training with Merab, which is like, yo, if you're going to train with anyone who can weaponize cardio the way you should, Merab Dvalishvili should teach you. I want this girl to use her frame in the Muay Thai clinch. Clinch bitches against the cage, elbow them, keep them there. You can be safe in that situation. And on top of that, use your reach with teep kicks, long jabs, and just keep the women at bay. And then when they get close, maybe throw a little Duplessis knee up the middle. Not Duplessis, RDR knee up the middle. She's going to be the slower of the two. She's going to be the less aggressive, but I think she's the better of the two. So I'm going to take Ernesta. I think she's got such a high ceiling, but it's not up to me to teach her how to fucking fight, though. Like, there's just so many times that I'm like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then when they do it momentarily, they have success, and then they just stop doing it. So if she comes out here to her best potential, highest potential, she fucking runs through Sofia. I think Sofia's kind of a fraud. The fact that she lost to a fraudulent fighter on the Contender Series tells you what you need to know. Whether you think it was a just decision or not, the fact that even she, quote unquote, got robbed in Contenders to a girl who has multiple violations for possible like fraudulent fights in her record is not a good sign. Now, Montenegro, again, is going to try to come out here and get some grappling. She's going to be faster early. I think she can land the heavier punches, but I do expect Ernesta to either win a decision, or if she's at that high caliber level where I expect her to be, she can give Sofia that rubber, if you know what I'm saying. She'll pound the bitch. So give me Ernesta by a decision. There's a very good chance it could be another split. The aggression, the power shots from Montenegro versus the like cardio, the punches and bunches, the output of Ernesta and the possible damage that she will bring upon Montenegro's face, I think she'll still win the decision, but there's a good chance it could go to a split, and in that case, having Montenegro would be the right move. So give me Ernesta to win this one by a decision. Next bout, I'll keep this one brief. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. Not much to say. I'm taking Reyes by knockout. I'm taking him by knockout in the second or third round. Minus 240 for Reyes. Whatever. Douglas Silva de Andrade, the plus 190. My opinion on him, the fact that he is coming off of a suspension from a diuretic, not technically steroids, but it could be masking steroids. Looking at him, could mask steroids. But he's 40, and he's definitely lost a step in speed, and he's a bit behind. Very winnable fight for him here. His aggressive, moving forward kind of style, better striking, very clean on the feet, just overall Muay Thai better. It's going to play well to the hands of Reyes. Reyes, I have to say, I think he fucking sucks. He is defensively garbage. He has good cardio. He's got that dog in him. He'll fight nasty. He'll fight dirty. Not like, it's poking eyeballs or nothing. Like, he fights just like, let's go. And in that forward movement, he's great. Like, it's like a fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When he's moving backwards, he looks fucking terrible. Larry Ann Douglas, great fighter though. Another Douglas that moves forward, was able to knock him out just with a fake right hand and hit him with the left hook and cracked him because he has terrible defense moving backwards. Going forward, dude's like moving his head. I'm like, what is it with this dude? Watching his tape on the Contender Series, every time he was moving forward against Justice Torres, I was impressed. But when I watched tape on him, not even that long ago, like against Chris Maquette, same thing. He was getting pushed back. The moment he starts moving forward, he's having success, but a little too late. So hopefully he's gonna stop playing that bullshit. Even against this Lance Lawrence, he was moving backwards. Lawrence is a bigger dude, but the moment he decided to go, it's almost like he takes a round to get going. As long as he's defensively sound early, which I don't bank, I just think he's going to rely on his toughness. But if he comes out here aggressive early, I think he can put the damage on the Andrade early because, we'll see if he's clean or not, depending on if he has like chiseled abs. We'll see at the weigh-ins, but Reyes, I think, is a fade waiting to happen. Let's just say at this point, I'm fading Douglas because after his fight with Miles Johns, I thought kind of the writing on the wall for the guy. He was looking slow. He was looking like not the same guy. And Miles Johns, Tyron Woodley'd his ass. And what that is, he bare minimum'd him. He didn't do much. So Reyes is going to do more than what Miles Johns was doing. And I think he does have not like knockout power, but like steps below knockout, to the point that it's not going to knock you out, but it's going to be like, oh, that fucking hurt kind of punch, Not concussive, but like very painful punches. Give me Reyes, third round TKO. Next bout. All right, Christian Quinonez versus Chris Mountinho. I know some people might be on the Mountinho side. He's plus 240. That number seems to resonate with some people, not me. Christian Quinonez minus 650 off of 2 losses. Now, I will give Quinonez credit. He's much better than I thought he was. When I faded him the last 2 fights, I did, because, I'm good at what I do. He gets over aggressive at times, and he can get caught. And that's what happened to him against Kang Hyo Kang. He got caught being way too aggressive, and he got choked out. Same thing happened to him with Barcelos, but Barcelos is now on a 4-fight winning streak, and he was the first name on that list. Quinonez is. But in that fight, Quinonez was actually out grappling homeboy Barcelos, and I was very impressed by it. He was doing really well. I think he was winning that whole fight up until he got choked out. And it's just going to be, unfortunately, a fighter in Quinonez that as long as he kind of does what he does, very nice little like lancing jab. And by that, I mean, he kind of throws his lead hand like a lance or like a fencer. Like he just pops you. Not like the hardest hit, but it's very accurate. He can be a bit defensively irresponsible there because he kind of keeps his chin up in the air when he's throwing that leaping punch. But the footwork, the speed is going to be there against Mountinho. Mountinho let me be real with you, man. Can he win this fight? Yes, he can crack Quinonez if he gets a little overconfident, and that's kind of where you have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, he has to get overconfident, and by that he means Christian has to not finish him, and he has to be styling on him to the point that he feels so not threatened by Quinonez or by Mountinho that he can get caught. I don't think that's going to happen here in Mexico, but it is a good chance it could if the crowd is like hyping him up. I just don't foresee it happening. But for the plus 420, why not drop $20 on it? Ultimately, though, Chris, does he deserve to be back in the UFC? I hate to say it, but he does not. It's nice to see him here. He might even get a win, but last time out, they gave him Guido Canetti, and he couldn't beat Guido Canetti. And that's like the easiest layup as long as you're skilled enough, and he got his ass beat by Guido. Here, I think Quinonez has shown that he is a step above guys like Guido Canetti, and even to the point being at the same level of fighter of Raoni Barcelos. He gave him probably his toughest fight within the last 4 fights. So give me Quinonez to actually style on him and eventually knock him out. I think Quinonez is a little bit better than I thought, given that he's getting a step down in competition. I did mention, coming off of a loss, and this is a legitimate loss, minus 650, a bit ridiculous. He's been out for about, 2 years. In those 2 years, I do expect to see some of those issues that I've had in the past with him get cleaned up. He's pretty decent, and we get to reevaluate. But for Mountinho, mostly a counter striker. He hits hard. He is aggressive, but you can see him coming from a mile away. He's very slow. And I don't think he's going to be able to take down Quinonez. I think he does have grappling chops to be able to submit Quinonez. But, man, I just don't see it happening. Moving on here, we've got Macy Chiasson versus Eileen Perez. There you go, booty girl. Minus 165 for Perez. Come back on Chiasson. Minus 135. Is this another Fortis fade? Up to you, really. I'm very split with this one. Chiasson has all the advantages, height, reach, I think better boxing when it comes to like basic shit like jab. The issue with Chiasson is that she doesn't have the mental edge here. I think Perez has the advantage there. I think Perez wants it a little bit more. But this is a very winnable fight for Chiasson. Like, she's not the easiest to take down, and Perez is going to try to get it to the ground. I think she will have some success, but even if she doesn't, I think she's just more aggressive on the feet, better footwork, not the prettiest fighter to watch. And I say that as a man who's seen her naked, but it's just like you can see she's a step behind, but what gets her these victories sometimes is just her tenacity, her willingness to fight. I think if the going gets rough for her where she's not being able to get takedowns, I think she'll swing for the fences and try to hurt Chiasson, where Chiasson might have, minutes in the bank winning, and I can see her getting dropped and losing the fight that way because I think Perez just wants it more. For that reason, although I do believe Chiasson has a solid chance here, if she was plus 200, I'd be all over that. I'll take my chances with her, but I just can't. I think Perez just wants it more, and I expect her to come out here and get this decision. Next bout. This is going to be fun. Jose Medina versus Ryan Gandra. Lord have mercy, man. We know Medina, plus 400. I'm not going to pretend to be oh, he's got a chance here. The only way he's got a chance against Gandra is if Gandra slips and cracks his fucking skull on the ground. I think Gandra, let me be real, I don't want to he's minus 550. I don't want to oh, he does this well. Gandra's a fucking fraud. No doubt about it. But it doesn't matter because Jose Medina exclusively loses to frauds, and that is his baseline. He is the fraud jobber. Gandra hits hard. He throws nothing but power. No diversity in strikes other than hooks. But that's all he's going to need here. God have mercy if Gandra loses, but don't parlay Gandra. This guy is not very good. Former fat heavyweight. Good for him. He dropped the middleweight. He's got some abs now. But he fought a guy in the Contender Series. He looked good in the Contender Series against Trent Miller, but I remember telling people that, I think Trent trains at Extreme Couture. I kept saying jokes Nixick is bringing Trent to get sacrificially beaten by Gandra because Trent's not a top-level dude. Gandra's going to outmuscle him just so he can get his 10%. And I'm like, man, it's fucked up. Look, Jose Medina's tough. That's all he's known for. But he's not. What is he going to do? Is he going to knock out Gandra? I don't foresee that happening. Give me Gandra to come out here and knock him out. In the first or second round, he throws nothing but power punches. I think that's what they even broke down. Like, who was it? Gianni's like, oh, it doesn't matter with his significant strikes because all he throws are significant strikes. And I'm like, all right, good enough for me. But he's younger. He's going to hit harder. He's going to be more powerful. And Medina is, again, he's the Super Smash Brothers punching bag in the training section where you can hit him as hard as you can and see how far he goes. And in this case, man, good luck to you if you have money on him. It's kind of like a meme bet, but yeah, Gandra beats him. Next bout, we've got at bantamweight, we've got Santiago Luna versus Angel Pacheco, another minus 480. High level, like, you're not going to get much of like value when it comes to these fighters, but Angel Pacheco plus 350. I like Angel. I actually really like Angel's style. Decent boxer. I respect that he'll throw 3 jabs out in the right hand, but defensively, not the best. He can get cracked. He can get hurt. His wrestling's not the best. Self-admittedly is not the best. Jiu-jitsu's not bad. He's a solid guy. He's a dog, though. He's a dog, and I think he is worth a shot as a dog. But while saying that, I do think Border Boy Santiago Luna, a guy who I did extensive research on, up until he got to the UFC, I had no idea who he was. Against Quang Bang Lee, mind you, I was like, man, this is going to be tough because Bang Lee hits hard. And Santiago Luna, he's still very young. He's 21, but he's not what I would call a very durable Mexican. He has good recoverability, if that's a word. He can recover well, but his chin sometimes fails him. He got dropped immediately in that fight against Bang Lee. He got stumbled a second time, and he comes out here and he knocks him out. I think Santiago Luna is on par trajectory-wise if he starts becoming more comfortable on the feet, because in that first fight against Quang Lee, you can see he was just not setting up his punches well. He was just throwing to throw because he had to. He had no choice. He's just kind of like, oh, shit, let's try to figure this out against a really good guy who already dropped me. The moment he starts feeling more comfortable on the feet and he works his boxing like it needs to, and from what I'm seeing, this guy's like training flying knees. That's the kind of shit you do in training that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, like on the feet. And he's going to have the power advantage for damn sure. But I do think that Luna has the trajectory to be another guy similar to Aaron Pico, not because of the shitty chin or nothing like that. I love Pico to death. But a guy like Aaron Pico with like the capabilities of both wrestling, because this guy's a disgusting wrestler, wrestling, boxing, and just that ability to move forward and that toughness, and a bit of a cross of, I don't want to say it like he's on that like path to being a double champ, but he reminds me a little bit of Ilia Topuria. He's not as polished as Ilia, but I think he has the same base for skill set with the wrestling. Needs to work on the jiu-jitsu a little bit more. Not the worst at jiu-jitsu, but needs to work on it. And if he can implement that boxing style, which he is working on, he's only 21. This guy's got a bright future as long as he is not consistently getting knocked out. He's already 7-0, and they're giving him a guy who is a bit of a dog, who can possibly finish him if Luna starts having doubts in there and he starts letting his chin a little bit more exposed. But if he's done the training, now that he's getting UFC money, whether that be fucking an extra 12 grand, he's not in regional scenes in Mexico anymore. He's getting paid at least some money to train better. If he's fixing those issues, I think Pacheco, man, I hate to say it, but I think Luna could have target practice with Pacheco. So give me Luna to come out here and knock out Pacheco in the first 2 rounds. Pacheco's tough and durable. I respect the shit out of this guy. One of the better fights in the Contender Series against Danny Silva. And Danny couldn't put him out. But man, if Luna, who it's super hard, super raw, super like needing polishing, if he starts getting polished up a little bit, he's going to be a fucking problem in this division. Beating a guy like Quang Bang Lee by knockout in your first fight, you can say whatever you want about Bang Lee, but that guy trains with some good competition, some good guys. Trains with John Castaneda. I'm looking forward to see what Luna can do. Moving on here, we've got Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. What was my joke about this? Oh yeah. I kept just recently. Someone's like, "Is Kevin Borjas live?" And I think I wrote something along the lines of like, Kevin Borjas could be on national television during SNL, Saturday Night Live, without a 5-second delay, meaning it's the most live thing possible. And then a group of like terrorists come and be like, "You're not going to turn off the cameras. I want you to point it straight at Kevin Borjas, or else we're going to eliminate everybody here." All that could happen, and he still wouldn't be fucking live. Rodriguez is very, very good. He trains. He was on the contender, not a contender, the Ultimate Fighter, and DC took a real shining to this kid, right? And in his last Contender Series fight, DC was there, and this kid is pretty damn good. Like, he went to a close decision with Joseph Morales at 26, knowing that he's 6-0. He's got wrestling background, heavy hands, very like dog in him. He's gonna run through Kevin Borjas. So give me Imanol Rodriguez to beat Kevin Borjas. I think Borjas does have a puncher's chance, but the fact that he beat Rodriguez, lazy boy, this is not a lazy Rodriguez here. The last Rodriguez is a fucking dumbass. He didn't start grappling. Rodriguez is going to take his ass down. Like, look, let me be real. I like lazy boy, but the guy's a bit of a jokey clown. He doesn't take fighting seriously sometimes. Like, he gets caught. Rodriguez here, Hitman, he ain't going to get caught. He's going to come right forward. He's going to put the pressure on him, and when needed, he will be able to take him down. I think Borjas has good cardio, but you can hold him, and I expect Rodriguez to hold him down and pound on him. So give me round number 2 TKO for Rodriguez. Next bout. This is another flyweight bout here. Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Bunes. Chairez minus 250. Come back on Bunes minus 190. I think Bunes is live as fuck. Trains with the Pitbull brothers. He's very skilled, very good black belt in jiu-jitsu. And let me be honest, 100% disclosure, this is going to be a very biased pick for me. Look, Edgar Chairez, Puro Chicali, clearly looks like a 125 Alex Pereira. And given the fact that in this week, I just got my signed Alex Pereira, let's see if I can do this right, glove, gold glove. It's kind of a sign that I shouldn't tempt with fate. But the realistic thing is Chairez is a bit of a dog. He's got the dog in him. He has a very good left hook as well, good hard low kicks. Does fight similar to Pereira, but I will say his grappling's a little bit better. Not as good as Bunes is. The thing is, Chairez's takedown defense is kind of shit. And Bunes is going to have a lot of success if he does keep this fight on the mat. So much so that I think he can finish Chairez. Bunes has a very good armbar. The way he got Jose Johnson with it was very impressive. But man, if this becomes a fight with two guys just throwing punches, I think Chairez is going to hurt him because he hits hard. This guy, the reason I think not only does he look like Poatan, the guy has that same kind of like bone structure. When he hits you, it's like, oh shit, that fucking hurts. And this is a guy who went to war with Joshua Van and another guy in Bunes who couldn't withstand Joshua Van. And that was a Joshua Van much better than the one that fought Bunes. So, yes, I think Bunes has a very good chance here, but like my unfortunate like pride in my simping for Alex Pereira does not allow me to not bet Chairez or pick Chairez, I should say. I don't know if I'm going to bet him, but I'm going to go with Chairez to win this one by knockout. Now, let me be real though. Like, you know, I'm taking the L if this doesn't hit. I do think the odds are not correct. I think it should be closer. Look, Chairez has not beaten the best competition. Chairez hasn't beaten the best competition, but neither has Bunes, to be honest. I think Bunes has fought more adequate competition. It's just, to me, like Chairez is a good fighter and all, but like there's clearly a path to beat him, which is in the wrestling. If you're trying to go strike with them, given the fact that Bunes is a black belt himself, a very good black belt. I don't know if Chairez's grappling is going to be there to like go for a submission. I think it's going to have to be via knockout, which I think he can do, especially considering he's going to be fighting in Mexico. This guy, I think, fights very well in Mexico, so I'm expecting a great fight between these two. But give me Chairez via my simping for Poetan. Moving on here, we've got Daniel Zellhuber versus King Bobby Green. Minus 500 for Zellhuber. Come back on King Green plus 350. It's a very funny thing when guys coming off of losses, and in this case, multiple losses, is still minus 500 against Bobby Green. That's just foolishness. If it was minus 200 on Zellhuber, even then I'd be like, I don't know, man. And I'll tell you why. I love Daniel Zellhuber. I think he's got so much potential. Like, this guy has the ability. He's got the height, the reach. But, man, I've been saying it for a while. I don't think Extreme Couture is the place for him. And from what I've heard, he's been training with Eddie Cha and in Fight Ready. I don't know if he's cross-training or whatever, but I think that's a better fit for him, where he can learn better striking techniques that lead into his grappling, to his strength. This guy's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got good grappling. Not the best, good grappling. But this guy has fallen in love with his striking, and even then, it's not even that good. He's very slow, but he's so talented. I really had high hopes for him. And the fact that he lost to Johnson really pissed me off, because he should have been able to run right through him, but he chose to strike with him. I was at the Sphere when he had that epic fight with him and Ribovic, and it pissed me off because he had the advantages in that fight, especially the grappling. He chose not to do so, and then he got caught in the third and nearly finished. To this day, I'm still pissed, but it's like, you got to give him some credit. He had a great fight. Losing to Johnson at his age, no excuse. He's going to make some changes. Bobby Green, we know what Bobby's going to do. Bobby's a fucking swag meister. He's a swag maxer, if you will. He's going to try to make Zellhuber look like a jester goon. And it's not going to be very difficult, considering that Zellhuber's going to try to strike with him. Plan A for Zellhuber, strike with him, see if you can have any success. He should. If you don't finish him on the feet, Bobby's been knocked out a lot easier these days. If you don't have success, mix in the grappling. If he doesn't have success with the grappling, then shit, you're a busted prospect. But I do expect Zellhuber to actually come out here and get a finish. I'm going to say TKO in the second round. I want to see his improvements, right? When I met the guy in Kansas City a few years ago, nice guy, and I'm rooting for him. But man, it's getting to the point that if you don't start fucking shaping up and flying right, I can't fucking fuck with you anymore, for real. So I'm hoping for the best for Zellhuber, and I am hoping that he left Extreme Couture. I think it was just too crowded. He wasn't getting the help that he needed. He wasn't getting the specific guidance he was needing, and we'll see what happens here in this fight. But, King Green, is he live? He always is, given the fact the way he fights. But I'm going to be honest with you as well. I don't really think Zellhuber loses in Mexico. Even if he can get knocked out in this fight, resurrected with another punch every single round, and I think they will still give it to Zellhuber. Especially if he comes out to fucking some mariachi music. He ain't losing. I'll just put it to you that way. Next bout, co-main event. This one pains me. Marlon Chito Vera versus David Martinez. I'll put it to you very simply. Minus 280 for Martinez, the doctor, versus Chito, plus 220. This is a fight of conflicting ideologies when it comes to fighting. We've got a guy that loves to win minutes, very active, and a guy that is often not very active at all with the offense, and that's Chito Vera. Chito sometimes takes time to get rolling. David does not. David hits hard. David can grapple. David has a good fight IQ. Yeah, he's very good. And I really like David Martinez. He's 13-1. He deserves to be in the UFC. He's got good power. He's got that stunning power that he kind of bolts at you and rushes in, which can be a problem given that Chito is very good with elbows. So if, say, David does blitz him, I think a good strategy for Chito is to intercept him with elbows, because Chito's disgusting, man. I miss that Chito that would go out there and just fight dudes. Like, he has the durability, he has the chin, he's got the power, he's got it all, but mentally he's just too chill. It's like he's perpetually high and he's waiting for the effects of the weed to just wear off until we can start fighting. We need an aggressive Chito. And this is a very like winnable fight for him in the sense that this is the least skilled opponent he has had in a plethora of years. And he's capable of doing so. But man, when you get a guy like Martinez, again, he's a fucking real doctor, a medical student. I don't know if he's gotten his doctorate yet, but this guy's a thinker. And the fact that he beat Rob Font the way he did, yeah, Rob's a tough guy out, and Chito's also a tough guy. But man, if Martinez is the one sticking and moving, I again don't see him losing in Mexico. He is like a very good prospect for the Mexicans. So give me Martinez to win this one by a decision, just being smarter. If he comes out here and he cracks Chito and finishes him, like this is maybe the year of the Iron Chins getting cracked. We just saw it to Dan Ige. I'd love to say that Martinez is the first guy to knock out Vera because I think that'd be a really good like stepping stone, almost like a passing of the torch to the younger generation. But the sad thing is that Chito's only 33. He's still got it in him, but it's just mentally, I don't know if he's there. We'll see. I said that last week, and we saw fucking Strickland come out here and beat Fluffy. But in this case, Marlon Chito's like more of like, I think he legit is just like, I'm cool making my like, I'm assuming like 100K to show. So we'll see with Martinez, who's hungrier and wants to prove a point in Mexico, what he can do. But give me Martinez here to win via decision. Next bout, main event. And boy, howdy, Moreno versus Kavanagh. Minus 245 for Moreno, Kavanagh plus 190. And not to mince too many words, I think Kavanagh, despite the stumblings to Charles Johnson, the dude is super likely to be fighting for a title. Not soon, but shit, if he can somehow get past Moreno, I would not put it past the UFC to somehow try to squeak him in. Because this kid is marketable. He's very good. Disgusting kicking ability. Disgusting speed. Super fucking fast. Disgusting haircut. And by that I mean I hate it. I fucking hate the bowl cut. The bowl cut when it like flops up and down. Get a better haircut, bro. This kid has a ton of potential. And it's very unfortunate that he lost to Charles Johnson. Because for one, I don't like Charles Johnson. I think that's like a unfortunate record L to have on your record. But it's a very good eye-opening experience for Kavanagh. Kavanagh was having his absolute way with Charles Johnson. And what I mean is that he was beating him on the feet. He was out-grappling him. But he slowed down a little bit. And the reason he slowed down was because he was initiating the grappling with Johnson, maybe to like prove a point. He's like, I can beat you on the feet. I can beat you on the mat. I can beat you anywhere. And with Kavanagh, because he's so explosive, very fast, uses a ton of speed, and speed oftentimes requires energy. He got a little tired, and he did not calculate his energy reserves. And on top of that, he exited the exchange of striking exchange with his hands down. That is an easy fix for a guy like Kavanagh to never fucking do that again. And from what I'm seeing, he's tucking the chin, keeping the hands up. And given the fact that he's only 26, he is incredibly good for his age, like no doubt about it. But we have seen the issues with him in the past. This is a short notice bout against a high level former champion, number 6 in the world, only lost to guys as of late who have held the title or are going to be fighting for the title officially. So it's a really hard ask for Kavanagh, but if this was 3 rounds, no doubt about it, I'd be all over Kavanagh because I think the speed, the power, the boxing is going to be there. But with Kavanagh, as I was mentioning, the problem is he's going to slow down eventually. Now, here's the caveat with Kavanagh. Given the fact that he doesn't really need to grapple here, I don't expect him to. I think he will be faster and probably the better striker than Moreno. He might be able to keep those reserves reserved. He can have an extra tank, and he has a good chance to win this, is what I'm saying. He's got a very good chance because I have seen a slight decline in Moreno, And the slight decline seems to be mentally. He doesn't often go hard enough. But when he does go, his boxing's clean. He rips to the body well. But him having a close fight with, with Steve Erceg, it's unfortunate. I think Steve was doing well against him. This all comes down to how good Kavanagh's cardio is and how he reacts to being pressured. I think if Moreno pushes the pressure, and he's going to have 5 rounds to do so, because look, I think Kavanagh's super, super live. I think he can knock out Moreno. I think he can finish him in a multitude of different ways, not grappling for sure. But if Moreno doesn't get knocked out and this becomes a 5-round fight, he has at the very least 2.5 extra rounds to push a nasty pace on Kavanagh, who might exhaust himself like with the movement. Hit him to the body. I don't think Kavanagh likes getting hit to the body very well, because it's like, oh shit, like no one does. Fluffy doesn't, for sure. And on top of that, he doesn't really react well to pressure. But here's the thing, man. He just lost to Johnson in a very embarrassing way. He got knocked out by Charles Johnson by the exact same type of method I expect Brandon to try to finish Kavanagh. Heavy pressure, lots of punches and bunches, and with Moreno having the clear grappling advantage here, it's just, again, a very, very tough ask of Kavanagh. I think he's incredibly likely to win this fight. I think his chances are better than the odds indicate. But unfortunately, with really the deck stacked against him, I really don't see this going to a decision and Brandon Moreno not having his hand raised. I think it's going to come down to round number 2. If Moreno, I think Moreno's going to lose round number 1. I think Kavanagh's going to be so much faster than he is. He's going to be putting a lot of damage on Brandon early. Maybe not damage that's like, oh my God, Brandon's almost finished. I think damage in the sense of like kicking him to the body, and he's going to be marking him up, and you'll see the redness on him. But come round number 2, if Brandon does enough to like maybe close the gap in that first round, meaning that it's a lot closer, but realistically Kavanagh wins the round by default, but Brandon did a little bit more to make it look like first round is like this, second round's like this, right? Clearly Kavanagh won it, but it's still close. I think the judges will be like, I think Moreno won that one. I think so too. And then round number 3, I think that's where Moreno's going to slowly chip away, start getting takedowns. His corner's going to be like, get him to the ground. He's going to slow down. He's huffing a little bit harder. You make Kavanagh tired, and I think Brandon's going to win this fight. Brandon's not going to get tired. He's been in 5-round fights. Props to Kavanagh for taking this fight. I'm looking forward to see what he does. If he does win this fight, holy shit. Like, I'm excited to see what he can do. But, like, to call him a fraud or getting fraud checked, no, not the case. He just made a really grave error. And I do believe that had Johnson not thrown that leaping right hand that caught him clean and knocked him out, he would have recovered on the stool, gotten some cardio back, and I think at that point he would have started putting harder strikes on Charles Johnson, where Charles would also want to try to get the fight finished because he's going to put like the pace on him. I do think that Kavanagh would have won that fight had he gotten a little bit more air in him. But props to Kavanagh. I am going to go with Moreno to get a finish via submission in round number 4 or 5. I think eventually he'll get him down. And if look, man, if Moreno can get Tyra in a triangle that close and that tight, yes, Tyra was not going to tap to that. And in some scorecards, I believe Tyra even won that first round by landing strikes. I could be wrong. I could have just fucking fever dreamed that. The fact that Brandon, he did get taken down by Tyra and get pounded out, I don't think that's the worst look. It's definitely a sign that he is slowly, like slowing down, but I think he's still got enough in the tank to win this fight. I think he's got the power, the boxing, the speed, the defense, the grappling. He's really got Kavanagh beat everywhere other than the speed and striking, truly. But it's going to take a lot from Kavanagh, a lot of damage early to try to win this fight. And I think he can. I really do believe so. Just watching his tape, he's excellent. And given more time, he's going to be even more excellent. But give me Moreno to come out here, submit him in the 4th round. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you think in the betting wise. Again, I'm not going to be watching these more than likely because I'm going to be judging this weekend. From what I found out, it's going to be mostly like bare knuckle and like a couple amateur MMAs, but we'll see how that goes. Let me know what you think is the best fight on the card. I'm excited about the Pinas fight. Happy it's going to be the first fight. I might actually be able to watch that one, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Johnny Tigerbomb, I will see you next week.